Welcome to Kaizen Time, part of the Blood, Sweat, and Business podcast, where we provide constant improvement to businesses through timely, actionable financial solutions. Do you want answers to your financial questions? Email us at bsp@kaizencpas.com. I'm your host, Mark Valesky. Now let's get started. Welcome to another episode of Kaizen Time. I'm joined by Clay Hamlin, a partner here at the firm. Clay, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing fine. Thanks, Mark.
Clay, we use a lot of software here at Kaizen CPAs, don't we?
We do, yeah.
Yep. And a lot of them have really powerful features that increase productivity and honestly just save so much time.
Right.
A lot of people like to talk about AI. Are there any of those kinds of features that we're able to utilize or are already utilizing?
Sure. There's artificial intelligence that's built into a number of our software systems.
Mhm.
Some of it's been around for a long time. For example, in our tax software, it'll say, here's a list of things that you ought to look at. Last year you did this year you're not. This year you're doing this, last year you didn't.
Okay.
And that isn't, in a way, a kind of artificial intelligence. It's algorithms built into the tax software to make you think about, what position you're taking here, or maybe you miss some information, that type of thing.
Okay.
Our client management system has all sorts of things like that's built in. I think probably one of the more exciting things that we're looking at, we're not there yet, but we're looking at building them, are AI bots. So, for example, in our tax software, there is an algorithm that's put together by Thomson Reuters, which is the maker of our software, that will ask you, prompt you for things, but it doesn't prompt you for other things that we think are important.
Okay.
And so we can build a bot to, when we complete a tax return, it'll scan that tax return and say, all right, based on what we think is important, are we following that, or do we see any issues there? Do we see any things that are probably not correct, to simply by the algorithms that we've built?
Okay.
And you can do that for financial statements. You can do that for tax returns. In our world, those are the two biggest things.
That's the bread and butter. Yeah.
That's the bread and butter. So, yeah. So we're in the process, the beginnings of writing these bots of like what's important to us, and then it can even stretch then further into like planning ideas. Like from if the client has this, then these are 3 planning ideas that you ought to look at.
So really it's helping with the decision making for the accountant. I don't want to say it's doing all the work, because it's really not. Human eyes are still touching
Sure.
every piece of work that we do.
Absolutely.
But it's helping with the decision making and kind of double checking everything that's getting done.
It does help with quality control. There's no question about it. So what I might think are important as I'm looking at a tax return isn't necessarily what you might think is important.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you have one common thing that we've all agreed these are important things, at least those things that are built into these algorithms will get hit.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, we can go through it much faster. So for me to review a return and if I have a list of 20 things that I need to look at,
Mm-hmm.
that might take me an hour to get through that.
Okay.
Whereas the algorithm might take it a few seconds.
Okay.
So we know that those things are hit. So now I can look at other things that I think maybe are like more advanced planning stuff. It gives me more time to think about it.
Well, and in reality, it's, giving another set of eyes, right?
Yes.
And it may think of something that other people may have not.
Sure.
And even though you may have these certain weighted values in there, being able to say like, oh, if I take this strategy, this could be the outcome. If we take the strategy that I put together, this could be the outcome. And then you
Correct.
can take it to the client and say, these are some options.
Yep. And it's surprising, I've been in the business for a while now, and the complexity is significantly more than it was even 10 years ago. Significantly more. Just the tax returns ask for a lot more data. Tell me, as an example, how many W-2s are associated with this tax return, a business return?
Mhm.
Well, they never asked that until about 2 or 3 years ago. And
Okay.
it's just one more thing you got to go look up. And there's just hundreds of these things, of these little bits of information that they want.
Well, and actually, I just want to add to that. I'll go back to when my dad was working. He only worked one job his entire life. He worked there. He was, would be working 4 in the morning till 2 in the afternoon. But that was his only source of income.
Right.
And then you go to me. I have multiple positions. I have my own business. My taxes are incredibly complex, and so I totally understand that why there's more. But also it really takes a toll on the accountant, right? That's a lot more that you have to go through.
Sure. And if you can get some help, you don't have to worry about all these little things. Because you can get lost in the little things, then you miss the big picture. And
Yep.
and if there's that's a recipe for disaster if you can't at least take a step back and say, okay, what is the big picture of this thing? Does it all fit together properly?
hmm Oh, that actually makes perfect sense. So again, the AI is then being used for the smaller tasks so that a person can look at the whole picture then.
Sure.
And does AI actually help kind of fit those pieces together at all?
We haven't seen that yet.
Okay.
So that's all about the algorithms
Mhm.
and how advanced the algorithms get. And right now, it's more task oriented as opposed to, um, artificial intelligence. The word is intelligence, right? It's more task than intelligence, like almost like artificial task. Right?
Okay. Or
It,
yeah, it's like
it,
assisting with all the tasks.
yeah,
But
it'll probably get there eventually, but it's not there right now.
I've heard the statement that artificial intelligence is like a really smart intern.
Yeah, it's
Like
probably about right.
it can do a lot, but it doesn't know quite a lot yet.
Right.
Yeah. Well, what else? What else is it doing that aside from just assisting with an actual tax return?
Sure. So I have artificial intelligence in my communication system. So we use like Microsoft Teams and Outlook.
Mhm.
So it looks through my emails, looks through my Teams, and in the morning it'll tell me, well, here's a list of things that are coming up for you that day. And by the way, you have these 3 people you haven't responded to. Um, and you have this talk that you need to get prepared for. So in that sense, it's quite useful because sometimes you might miss an email or a Teams message. Particularly, I don't miss a lot of emails, but I do miss Teams messages because we have these multiple channels,
Yep.
probably 20 channels, and things just roll through during the day. And maybe 3 people have posted something in a particular channel, and I saw the bottom one and hit a little response. Hey, Mark, that was great. Well, that makes that entire channel look like it's been read, but I didn't actually read the 2 postings above, which could be very important.
So in many ways, it's like having a personal assistant and
little-
summarizing everything for
A
you.
little bit, yeah. So the other thing too is another aspect is, so if I'm doing research on something, so if I say, hey, Mark has a question on a 529 plan for his children, right? And I say, I type in, what's the best deduction, or what's the best tax scenario for a 529 plan? Our artificial intelligence will scan all of our internal documents now, as well as external. And it'll say, internally, this is what we think, and externally, this is what we see, which is helpful in many situations, particularly the internal one, to know what people are talking about, and externally to see what other people are saying, or what external sources are out there. It can't see, like, for example, if you and I have a private chat going, it doesn't actually see into that. So it's only like public channels. But oftentimes things are posted in the public channel. Someone will say, hey, I saw a great idea about a 529 plan, and they post it into a public channel. Well, my bot will see that, and it'll say, Mark saw this thing, and this is what he said. And then it'll also say, according to the IRS, a 529 plan can blah, 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 whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So it gives me both sources, which is very nice.
Oh, it's nice to be able to, again, cross-reference, and
Yeah.
it's another set of eyes working for you.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Well, Clay, is there anything else you want to add about these resources that we have available?
The only other is just a warning, is that you do have to be careful. There's a lot of junk, and there's a lot of wrong information.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is, if you want, you can get a better answer if you ask nicely.
True.
I know it sounds crazy, but if you say, can you please look this up for me?
Mhm.
You actually statistically get a better answer than if you just say, look it up.
You know what? Honestly,
So courtesy pays even in the world of artificial intelligence.
you know what? I feel like if people act the same way they did in the real world that they did online, probably be a nicer place, right?
Yeah.
And again, these artificial intelligences do learn from us.
They do.
And they understand. So yes, please and thank you do not hurt, even in the slightest.
It's weird, but it's true.
Yep. Awesome. Thank you so much, Clay.
Thanks, Mark.
You've been listening to Kaizen Time, part of the Blood, Sweat, and Business podcast. If you like what you heard, subscribe and leave a 5-star review. This podcast has been brought to you by Kaizen CPAs Plus Advisors, providing advisory and accounting services to help you grow your business. Learn more at kaizencpas.com or email us at bsb@kaizencpas.com.